Welcome to the Greenway with Mac, a channel dedicated to active transportation. Today's video comes from the jewel of the San Bernardino Mountains in Southern California. The small mountain city of Big Bear Lake is a hotspot for outdoor living in any season. I was in town to do the Grizzly Gran Fondo with my friend Alex, and we followed up the next day with a ride on the Alpine Pedal Path with his son. We started on the south end of the Stanfield Cutoff, which is a bridge that crosses the east tip of the lake. The pedal path is about 2.5 miles, but I extended it just a bit by turning around at the Big Bear Solar Observatory. As you can see, due to California's drought, the water level is down about 20 feet from normal levels, and we would normally have a view of the water on both sides of us. Off to the right and across the street from where we started is the Stanfield Marsh Boardwalk. That walkway is a little over a half-mile long and would take you out over the water in a normal year. The bike lane we are in used to be parking, and it was a bit of a mess. As is often the case when parking is removed for bike lanes, there was a lot of pushback initially. But over time, people have learned the value in this connection, and most visitors and locals would not want to go back. Now it forms a great, safe connection between the pedal path and the city center. In the evening, the sun sets on the opposite side of the lake, so this can be a spectacular place to observe it. Today's ride is a good one for all ages. The path is separated from vehicles except for a few minor road crossings. I added a few hundred extra feet to the ride by going to the driveway of the observatory, but there's plenty of trail to enjoy without doing that extension. Big Bear is a really beautiful area no matter what time of year you visit. I used to come up a few times each winter to enjoy the ski resorts. The two main ones in town are Snow Summit and Bear Valley, which we can see across the lake, but there are several others in the area, including Snow Valley. In the summer, you can take a bike up the ski lifts and enjoy an assortment of trails and features on the way down. The city of Big Bear Lake has a population of 5,000 and it has an elevation of 6,752 feet. It takes about an hour to drive up from the valley below on the south side, which is where you would come up if you're coming from areas like Los Angeles and the Inland Empire. Off to the left is a public boat launch ramp, and next to it the rocks from the North Shore Lookout Point. To our right up this road is the trailhead for the Woodland Trail 1E23, which is a 1.5 mile, relatively flat trail with 15 informational signs about the area. Looking to the left and across the lake gives us a view of the ski slopes, which are the areas clear of trees. The one to the right is Snow Summit. The ski resort opened in 1952 and is one of the best areas for skiing and snowboarding in Southern California. There are 14 lifts to help you access its 240 acres of skiable slopes. 2 miles door to door and just visible to the left is Bear Mountain, which is owned by the same company. A ticket purchase for one resort is honored at the other one. Bear Mountain has 740 acres of terrain and has 12 lifts that serve the mountain. In general, the signage was pretty good on the trail, and wayfinding is not really needed because the trail itself is easy to follow. The north side of the lake is away from the activity of the village and busy roads, which makes camping one of the best activities to do here. There are 2 private RV parks and a Forest Service campground where you can tent and RV camp. All 3 are right off the Alpine Pedal Path, and I'll point each one out as we reach them. All 3 are excellent places to stay while in town, and the Alpine Pedal Path gives you a safe, fun, and car-free way to reach the village. Here is Juniper Point, which is a seasonal day use area. If it is nice enough weather to bike, then it's likely open for visitors, but does close because it is a bald eagle habitat. The Big Bear area is a coniferous forest, and some of the trees you will see are ponderosa pines, white firs, incense cedars, and western junipers. The name Big Bear comes from a man named Benjamin Wilson, who in 1945 was chasing serranos who had been raiding ranches in Riverside. When he encountered tons of grizzly bears, he called the area Big Bear Lake. That lake was actually Lake Baldwin, as the dam that formed the current Big Bear Lake was not yet built. The dam was built in 1884, and its purpose was to irrigate the farming area of Redlands. At the time, Big Bear Lake was the largest man-made lake in the world. Big Bear is also known for having a 15-year gold rush after a bear hunter named Billy Holcomb discovered gold in 1860. Not much remains from those prospecting days, but you can learn more about it at the Discovery Center. I mentioned earlier that we were up here for the Big Bear Gran Fondo. This was a ride up and down the mountains that had competitive levels of 75 and 100K lengths, but also non-competitive rides of 30 and 50 kilometers. We did the 50K, and I don't train for this type of thing, so it took me to the limit both mentally and physically, but somehow we finished. The Big Bear Cycling Association hosts rides from May to October, and they put on community rides that include mountain, gravel, and road bikes. The Big Bear Gran Fondo takes place in October. The Meadows Edge picnic area has picnic tables, barbecues, and restrooms. Like Juniper Point, it is open seasonally from April 1st to December 1st. This sign marks a spur of the Alpine Pedal Path that you can take to the Cougar Crest Trailhead and the Big Bear Discovery Center. This is awesome because there is a short tunnel that takes you safely under Highway 38. If you take this branch of the trail, then you can stay on the paved path to reach the Big Bear Discovery Center. Or if you're hiking, you can continue to the left and enjoy the Cougar Crest Trail, which is a 3.5-mile trek up to Bertha Peak. It's a steep hike, but you'll be rewarded with spectacular views of the lake and its surroundings. Across the road is the Big Bear Shores RV Resort. This one is a 5-star resort and has amenities like a pool, spa, and tennis court. One thing that makes this place unique is that each site is privately owned, so no two sites are alike. They only allow propane fires, so if roasting s'mores on an open flame is your thing, then you'll want to stay at Serrano. The next campground is the Lighthouse Trailer Resort and Marina. This family-run site has a general store on site and is open from May to October. Bikes, kayaks, and paddleboards are available to rent on site as well. The surface of the path was really good, except for a few sections where the water has washed some of the dirt onto the trail. It's hard to see, but we are going over a section here. Earlier we passed the vehicle entrance to the Serrano campground, and it stretches alongside the pedal path for this whole length. They are open from early March to late November, and sites range from $40 to $80 per night. There are over 100 campsites, and about a third of them have full hookups. There are fire pits, showers, and most of what you would expect at a campground. The campground is quite popular, so you'll want to reserve them early. They accept reservations up to 6 months in advance. This is the end of the Alpine Pedal Path, and definitely where you want to turn around if you don't want to bike in the street. If you want to see the road to the telescope, then carefully cross the street and go left. It's only a couple 100 feet up here on the right. The Big Bear Solar Observatory was built in 1969 by the California Institute of Technology. There are 3 telescopes inside, including one that is 1.6 meters wide, which makes it the largest operating solar telescope in the world. Be sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you want to see where I go next. I'll see you on the next Greenway.